After UFC 315, where Jack Della Madalenna beat Belal Muhammad to become the new welterweight champion, all eyes were on the new matchup between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Madalenna for the welterweight championship, which had been talked about, I believe, at the UFC 315 press conference. Dana White even confirmed that based on who won this matchup would decide whether or not Islam moved up in weight class, because he is friends, I think, or training partners with Belal Muhammad, so they wouldn't want to fight each other, which made sense, I guess. But if Jack Della Madalenna won, well, Belal Muhammad's not going to get an immediate rematch. Definitely not. So Islam could move up and fight him. And then we were all kind of waiting to see if this matchup would get made, which honestly, I personally thought it would take a bit longer for this to come out. Maybe it's just based on how other matchups in the UFC are going, such as John Jones and Tom Aspinall, which we still don't have any information on. And most likely John Jones is just never going to fight again. And then, obviously, Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. We were waiting to see any information on that, how any of those fights are. And then we get news that Ilia Topuria is going to be facing Charles Oliveira for the vacant lightweight title, because Islam Makhachev is moving up to welterweight to face Jack Della Madalenna, which I think is proving the point that for a champion wanting to move up to face the champion up a weight class, they have to vacate their title. Because Ilya's done it now, and now Islam has done it. Yet John Jones still keeps his title. That confuses me. But point is, we're gonna get the super fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Madalenna, which I'm all excited for, because personally, as of right now, and just really thinking about it, I think Jack Della Madalenna might be Islam Makhachev's toughest matchup. And, you could say this for a lot of different matchups. You could say, Ilia Topuria is his toughest matchup. Arman Tsarukyan is his toughest matchup. Some people might say Charles Oliveira is his toughest matchup in a rematch. I don't agree with that, but it's something people say. You go to welterweight, people say Shavkat. They'll say Ian Gary, just from a technical level. He's very good at winning super close matches, doing just enough to win. You could say Belal Muhammad, just from they're both wrestlers, have that. But I personally just think Jack Della Madalenna is the perfect test for Islam Makhachev, because Jack Della Madalenna is probably one of the best strikers in the UFC, at least best boxer, because he is so efficient with his boxing. And where him and Ilya differ in how good they are at striking is because Ilya's boxing, how he's able to throw these hard punches, be super clean with it, is he doesn't really need to be worried about getting taken down, because if somebody takes him down, he's fine being on the ground. He's a very good grappler. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, first of all, to begin with. He can get submissions. He's not really worried about that. He's short and very stocky, so trying to take him down isn't exactly an easy thing to do. And with a shorter reach, he can basically just kind of block the takedowns, guard himself, reset his hand position, super easy. That's where his effectiveness comes from. Jack Della Madalenna's comes from how efficient he is at doing damage, his boxing technicalities, and also his takedown defense, because he is not a grappler. I know he has a submission against, I'm trying to remember who it was. It was at the Perf card where Islam fought Alexander Volkanovski the first time. He submitted a dude, I think like a rear naked choke or something. But main thing is he is known for striking. And his just ability to defend takedowns against Belal Muhammad while also dealing out elite level boxing is just insane. He has crazy good reach. His frame, he's very buff and lean for his weight class, his height. Super tall and kind of lanky, but also just has that muscle built onto him. So him and Islam are very kind of similar in that. It's also, the other thing is the weight, whereas Islam Makhachev is a pretty big dude. I know he cuts a good amount of weight to get down to lightweight. Jack Della Madalenna is a welterweight who has to cut a good amount of weight to get down to welterweight. So you see where I don't think a weight advantage thing is going to be as big of a deal, which I'm not saying that's a main factor to Islam's success. I'm just stating a point that some people might throw out there because I have heard it before. He's got good defense on the ground. He's on a crazy long win streak. His striking, I'm just honestly super excited for this fight, and this is not a matchup that I would have thought of a year ago, and yet it's all I'm thinking about. I'm super excited for it because we just get to see, because I believe even though Jack Della Madalenna has only now just won the title, if he beats Islam Makhachev, that I don't know if there's a better title defense because, and it's still my opinions on the first Islam Makhachev title defense against Volkanovski. I know he wasn't a lightweight. He had built his way up to be a lightweight at that point. He had bulked. He was built for that weight class there. Obviously, he was undersized in terms of height, but, I mean, his reach was good. He was bulked up enough. I didn't think there was a better title defense for Islam Makhachev to have at that point against one of the featherweight goats. Honestly, probably could be the featherweight goat right now. I won't deny it if somebody throws it out there because he did just re-win the title, and you just get the idea. But point is, I think that'd be a great title defense for Jack Della Madalenna. And if why do I keep saying Ilya? If Islam Makhachev wins the matchup, I know it's only against a guy who had just won the title, but as a guy that I could see recapturing the title if Islam decides to move back down. Got on a crazy win streak who at one point I think he lost his first 2 matchups and then never lost again. That'd be a crazy win to have over that dude, and I think it'd be rightfully so. And then I guess the big question is if Islam wins, because I do think that's a big if, because I do think Jack Della Madalenna has a good chance of beating Islam. But if Islam does manage to win, depending on how good he does, because if he does to him what he did to Moicano, which I don't think would happen, but let's say he does that, or he does in the first 3 rounds. He finished in the first 3 rounds. I think he's, there's already an argument you could put him as top 5, so I would already say he's going to be in top 5 if he does win that, because most lightweight title defenses, crazy long win streak, add a welterweight title to his resume against a good champion. I think that'd make him top 5 if he defends that belt, depending on who he defends it against. If it's Shavkat, if it's Joaquin Buckley, if it's any of those guys, or Sean Brady, Sean Brady as well. If he defends it against any of those guys and he also does that impressively, I wouldn't really argue if you said he was the GOAT. Just gonna say it straight up because he really would be living up to the fighting anybody. Now I know everyone's gonna say, he should have fought Ilya. My thing with that is if he would have fought Ilya and he would have won, people have said, man, he's only defending against featherweights. So even though I know I probably wanted the fight at some point, I'm fine with it at this point because I don't want to be rooting for fights and then dogging on the fighter after he wins it, especially if it's against Ilya. And hey, here's the thing. Islam might move back down to lightweight after winning the title against Jack Della Madalenna. And he can fight Ilya if Ilya wins, or he can rematch Charles Oliveira if Charles Oliveira wins. And if Charles wins, Charles is on a 2-fight win streak against Michael Chandler and Ilia Topuria. I think that'd be a good rematch at that point. Or if Ilya wins, if he wins impressively against Charles Oliveira, you can fight the new lightweight champion and then become a 2-time lightweight champion. I think that'd be pretty good. Other than that, that's really all my thoughts. Bye.